This amendment would remove language that prohibits cities, townships, counties, school boards from using ranked choice voting in local elections. I don't believe that we should be dictating to our local units of government. We should allow them to choose this system if they feel that it's best for them. In runoff elections, and that's what ranked choice voting is, it's a runoff election system. Runoff elections are done, I think most people understand this, runoff elections are done when you have multiple candidates and nobody receives a majority of the vote. So it's a way of ensuring that the majority prevails by having a runoff, another round, to ensure that whoever wins has the support of the majority. But unlike a traditional runoff, which requires voters to come back on a completely separate day in a completely separate election in order to register their votes, ranked choice voting does this in a single cost-effective election. It allows voters to cast their runoff votes on the same day instead of having to come back again.
And I want to address the issue of equity in voting. And as we look around this floor and we look at other areas, you'll notice that there is a sad disproportion of women to men, people of color to non. And one thing that I have learned as I've studied and learned more about ranked choice voting is the positive effects that it has on creating that equity that we look for in our communities. For too long, women and people of color have been discouraged from running for offices because of that cloud over the voting system that has been unfavorable towards them. And as we look at the different examples of ranked choice voting and the way that I have participated, I've very clearly seen what a difference and what a positive change this new form of voting can possibly be.
And there are many areas where it's been implemented. There's cities right here in Minnesota that currently use it include Minneapolis, St. Paul, St. Louis Park, Minnetonka, and Bloomington. There are many others who would like to and are actually looking at adopting such a system. My own city of Moorhead, which I represent, is seriously looking at this system. And there are numerous resolutions of support of from local units of government for the local option for local governments. And some of those include Olmsted County has passed a resolution of support for expanding on ranked choice voting and allowing them to choose this system as well. So Otter Tail County, Rochester, Melrose, Edina, the Hopkins School Board, and the city of Red Wing.
Your vote will always count as we go through rounds. So essentially it's sort of like a runoff, but the difference here is that it also saves cost for local governments, and that's why you're seeing that trend of local governments finding this an acceptable proposal to conduct elections, fair elections.
There are no wasted votes at all in this system. Actually, it ensures that all votes are counted in every single round. Everybody's vote counts in every single round of the voting. And that's why the Minnesota Supreme Court has ruled that this system upholds the principle of one person, one vote. In fact, the system that we have now allows the possibility of a candidate actually winning an election even though the majority of the people voted against them. That, I believe, is a violation of that principle, a violation of democracy, because democracy, I think, requires that you have the backing of the majority. And that's all we're asking for here.
Well, one of the fundamental concepts of voting in a democracy is that every vote counts. We hear that in November, get out and vote, your vote counts. But due to our two-party system, voting for a third-party candidate is often referred to as throwing away your vote. How often have we heard that? Why are you going to vote for that person? They don't have a chance to win the election. You're just throwing away your vote. But in a democracy, every voter should be able to vote for the person that upholds their values and ideals. Well, ranked choice voting allows you to vote for your favorite candidate and then rank the other candidates. Your vote is meaning in the overall election, because even though your preferred candidate is eliminated, your vote could go to your second choice.
This is very clearly an issue of local control. We wouldn't be trying to take away local control if this wasn't an issue of local control. I realize a lot of our arguments today are about the benefits of ranked choice voting, and that's important, but for me it starts at the question of local control, because that's really important out in greater Minnesota, where I'm from. Members of my community, we know we're special and we're different, and we want control over how we do things. That's perfectly reasonable.
Right now we have such negative campaigning that this kind of addresses that, so that a candidate who wants to win has to win over the people's second votes, so they don't alienate all the other candidates. And I know that even on this floor, we've had some candidates that have liked that idea that we do not go negative on each other. I don't like to do that, and there's a lot of other candidates that prefer not to go negative.
It's really hard to get over that threshold. You're wasting your vote, you're spoiling your vote. And for legitimate people who have good ideas that are different from the mainstream sometimes, that the public supports, give them a chance. Ranked choice voting clearly does it without making it so, well, I prefer candidate A over candidate B, but I don't like either of them as well as this candidate. I can pick the candidate, give a chance to somebody new, an independent candidate or somebody, give them a chance. And if they're not even close, then, well, I can still pick the other one. You're only getting one vote, but you're ranking them in order. And that's a fair way to do it.
One of the biggest problems in our current democracy is the tyranny of the two-party system. I'm not an especially partisan dude, but we can see how parties have frustrated our democracy rather than enabled it. By having ranked choice voting, we take away one of the tools of the two-party system, which is the fraudulent third-party candidate who is not truly running for that third party. And we actually empower, as Senator Franzen mentioned, real legitimate third-party candidates.
It is bipartisan. It is a bipartisan, efficient, and effective way to cast our ballots and also to get a majority of people voting for the eventual winner.